The Wellness Show, Episode 51.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Welcome to The Wellness Show, and I'm very excited to have Karen Lorre on the show with me today, and she's very excited about talking to us about how to help people just show up and be authentic and awesome. So, Karen, tell us a bit about who you are.
I've been an actress almost all my life. I also studied pre-med, and then I went through some challenges in my life, and from those challenges, I was kind of trained by those challenges to focus only on the positive, and it shifted my body and it shifted everything, and I got really a tremendous amount of clarity about the power of love. And I've become a teacher of love. I still act, but I became a teacher of love, and I create guided meditations, and I love people, and I know how to find solutions to pretty much every issue, at least the ones that I've discovered. I've found solutions to everything, and I love this world. I love you. I love people. I love life.
Oh, that's fantastic. Something that you said really caught my attention. You said it shifted your body. What do you mean by that?
I had lots of different things have happened. For example, I had a melanoma on my face, and my doctor said I should get rid of it, and she was going to do surgery. And I ran into another doctor that I knew at the grocery store, and he said, "You have a melanoma on your face." And I said, "I know." And he said, "You need to get it removed tomorrow." And I said, "Well, I'm going to get it removed Tuesday." This was like a Friday. And he said, "Come into my office for Saturday, and I'll remove it for you." And I went home and I meditated, and I meditated all that day on the feeling of beauty. I didn't want my face cut, and I just meditated on this feeling of beauty. I see it everywhere in nature. I see it in babies. I see it in people. So I knew it was something that was important in this world, beauty. And I just kept meditating on it. And when I woke up in the morning to go see him, it was gone. There was no sign of it. There was no evidence that I'd even had it. And I called him, and he said, "I don't believe it. Come in anyway." So I went in anyway. And he said, "I've never seen anything before. I've never seen anything like this before in my life." And he was completely freaked out. And then he let me watch him do a nose surgery.
Wow.
So that was one thing. Yeah, I mean, and I've had it with other things. I had a thing where I was incredibly sleepy during the day, always falling asleep, and where I had chronic pain, and where my hair was falling out, and my eyebrows were thinning, and my nails were weak, and my adrenals were depleted, and my thyroid was off, and my iron was low. And through appreciation of my body, and through creating a meditation for myself about my body, because I understood about how to induct people and myself into a deep relaxation, and I understand about how the mind affects the body. That's what I studied in college. I created this meditation for myself, and literally from listening to that meditation and focusing on things that I appreciate, my body got healthier. I'm now in chronic pleasure. My hair has gotten thicker and healthier. My nails have gotten thicker and healthier. My bone density has increased. My adrenals are completely happy. They don't even hardly ever go off. My thyroid is completely balanced. I have great iron in my blood now. My eyebrows are all filled in. I mean, everything shifted, and my physical energy got so high. People now ask me, like, how do you have so much energy? My life force energy has increased like monumentally. People say I have the energy of like a room full of 3-year-olds.
Well, that's scary. That's scary. A room full of 3-year-olds. It sounds like you have, not only do you have this magic that's happening because you know how to work with your body and to send it the messages that it's whole, sound, and perfect, but it sounds like you have some synchronicity that's occurring, like you're at the right place at the right time to meet the right doctor that provides you with the next step. So not only is the beauty coming through from the inside out, but also you're you're really in a, almost it feels like me, like you stepped into a divine flow. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. I live in Los Angeles and I have such a divine flow that I flow everywhere I go. I'm always, it looks almost like streets are ghost towns as I drive on them. And these are big streets like Sunset Boulevard, but it is quiet as I drive in the direction I go. I'm in such flow and I'm always meeting the right people at the right time in the right way. Yeah, the universe just loves to rendezvous me with everything I want. It's uncanny, and I'm incredibly intuitive, and I'm really good at reading both the inner guidance from my inner source and also really good at reading the inner spirit of other people. So I can.
How did all this yumminess come together then? I mean, the yumminess of your life. I mean, you've got the being able to speak with your body, and so that the beauty comes from the inside out, and that you have the energy to get you through the day, that you radiate this beauty, you're in this synchronicity, you're in this flow. It sounds like you created a holistic approach for people to really reconfigure their lives in a brand new way.
Yeah, I think that I've been meditating for like almost, I think 28 or 29 years. And through meditation, I've gotten a huge channel. And even though I had that challenge after I'd been meditating, I still had that ability. I've always had the ability to perceive subtle energies and to perceive guidance. I've always had synchronicities my whole life. And I think a lot of it, do you know when you have, a lot of people get obsession about things where they have something negative that they're focused on and then they just let it swirl and swirl and swirl and swirl and it takes them down this terrible path of obsession.
Yes.
That thing of obsession, the obsession is really a vehicle. It's a vehicle. Most people use it to destroy themselves, but it is a vehicle that can be used in either direction, positive or negative. Right. And I recognized the obsession that I had that had created the dis-ease in my body. And I started to take that same obsessive energy, but move it in the direction of positivity, in the direction of love, in the direction of health, in the direction of wellness and wholeness. And as I did, it literally transformed me, and it has been such a pleasurable obsession that I've kept it up. There's no way I will ever not be obsessed with this because it is the most yummy, experience and the most yummy way to go through the world.
So how did you do that reverse flow? Because I'm beginning to discover this myself. In the last week, I've been able to stop the whole, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess it would be the worry factor that's running 24/7 in the background. And I've somehow been able to shut it off. I've been able to stop that chatter so that I can just be relaxed. It's almost becoming more childlike so that I can be in allowance. But, it was like I had to shut something off. How do you help people shut that off, that sort of constant worriness, for lack of a better word, that's running in most people's minds?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I don't have any worry or concern ever, really. So my mind is super quiet, and it has come from a couple different understandings. I love etymology. My mom is Greek, so I grew up, the root of this word is such and such. She would explain the Greek of everything. And the word relevant, I was thinking of it one day, and I looked up the root of it, and it comes from the root relevare. Relevare originally meant to lift up and to lighten. And I started thinking, what is relevant? And I was thinking of it lifting me up and lightening me. And I thought, gosh, the things that lift me up and lighten me are relevant. Everything else is not relevant. And once I got that, and I realized that anything that was not lifting me up and not lightening me was irrelevant, I literally dropped. It just felt like all these belief systems went and fell away from me because I didn't need them anymore. I recognized that when something was lifting me up and lightening me, it was an indication that I was perceiving it accurately, that I was seeing it in a truthful way. And when something was irrelevant, it was as irrelevant as someone yelling at me, you have purple hair.
Mm.
I know I don't have purple hair, so I don't have to argue with that person. I don't have to correct them. I don't have to fix them. I don't have to, analyze them. I don't have to report them. I don't have to beat them up. I don't have to do anything. I can just laugh knowing it's irrelevant. And that's what I got about my belief systems and my thoughts that were not lifting me up, enlightening me. I realized that they weren't the truth. I wasn't perceiving them accurately. And I realized that my job when I had a negative thought was really to just get into a higher vibration, and then I would see the truth. And so all these things literally just fell away from me. I literally transformed when, like almost the day I got that clarity about that word, I transformed. And then two other things actually happened. One is, I understand they've done studies in science that indicate that the heart has more nerves going from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart. And that the heart is intuitive. It's able to pick things up before there's any ability to hear it, see it, smell it. And I keep my attention on my heart most of the time during the day. I would practice it when I was first starting, just breathing softness into my heart. And when I would breathe this softness into my heart, I would feel my heart open, and I would feel the infinite, eternal, unconditional, sweet love that is always there. It's always in our hearts. It's always in every particle of our bodies. And as I would feel that love, my brain would become coherent with my heart, and it would become quiet. And so I don't have to think. I don't figure things out. I don't effort in my thought. I simply keep my heart open, and it just, I get the intuitive thing to say. And the last piece of it that really helped me, which is kind of different, but I feel the source within me caressing my body and my brain in such a way that it literally is rewriting it. I felt it at the beginning when I first perceived it. I felt that the source within me was sort of like massaging my brainstem, the part of me that's the reptilian brain, the part of me that's the fight or flight, and just massaging it and massaging it and massaging it with this energy that was so soothing and so soft. And I would feel it being worked on, and it was almost intoxicating. It would just feel so unbelievably pleasurable. And what happened is my fight or flight instincts left. I'm sure they could come back, but I basically now, when something happens that normally would have caused me to fight or flight, now I go into love and relax, or love and relax more. I mean, there's no, I don't have a reaction anymore. And then I could feel the source within me moving through my hypothalamus and through my limbic system. And it literally felt like it was reorganizing and rewriting or reconfiguring my whole brain and increasing my connection between the two hemispheres, the corpus callosum. It felt like it was just moving between there, massaging the corpus callosum and increasing that connection, which created more whole brain thinking as well. And I feel that energy anywhere in my brain or in my body all the time, which is very pleasurable.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I mean, I want to jump into so many times and interrupt you, but I don't want to, because I want to hear what you're saying. But it sounds like you're living an orgasmic life. Truly, truly. It seems to me also that the whole limbic system, what you're talking about, the fight or flight, when you work with animals, especially those that are a bit stressed, and you work with them and they relax, they go from that terrified being presence to that calm, luxurious, soft being, as they are, they are caressed in the love. And that's really what you're talking about, providing for yourself and your clients, is that ability to let go of that fear, that trauma that we all is our sort of like our base foundation that we haven't been able to free ourselves from yet. So I get the impression of literally stroking your brainstem to relax in order to let go of that, so that all that flow of divine energy could flow through to the frontal brain. That's a very, very powerful. I love that concept. The other thing I loved what you said was the whole origin of words, that words are so powerful, that it is in the words. If the words that I'm using, the return path to the light, is truly the return path to the light, then it is a case of lightening it up. It is a case of letting go. Where is the light? Where do we let the light come through? What are the words that allow that to happen? So thank you for those powerful, powerful insights that you're providing. Very exciting.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. And it's really fun when other people get to experience this orgasmic life, as you call it, because really this whole life is full of pleasure, and it's meant for us to be in pleasure. And there's so many things you can do, like simple things. Let's say somebody's in a little bit of stress. They can literally take an essential oil and just smell it for like a minute. And what they're doing is they're triggering a part of their brain that will cause relaxation and will cause pleasure. And as they do that, they're funding their pleasure center instead of their stress or pain center. And you can literally move from having, like in my instance, I had chronic pain that I'd had my whole life, and now I have chronic pleasure. I didn't know that I was funding. We have these things in our brains called hedonistic hotspots, and they're just entirely devoted to pleasure. So anytime you're doing anything that is pleasurable, whether it's having a great meal, or having a beautiful conversation, or being with someone you love, or looking out on nature, or doing something physical that you enjoy, or exercising, or making love, or masturbating, or whatever it is that you do that's pleasurable, you're funding these hedonistic hotspots. And what's possible, if this was like somebody's pain center, that pain center can grow and grow and grow if people keep focusing on the pain. But if these were each of the hedonistic hotspots, they can also grow and grow and grow, and they can kind of take over the pain center, so that now the pain center is used just to communicate, oh, you've walked into the coffee table, move to the left,
Right.
So you don't keep doing it, but not enough to where you have an injury that keeps going. So I have had shoulder surgery in the past. I used to be a trapeze artist, and I couldn't after a while because I had injured my shoulder. And that injury took like a year to heal, and I had surgery and blah, blah, blah. And then not too long ago, I was doing some exercise with a friend, and I dislocated my shoulder. But I knew that I had so much pleasure in my body, so I stopped doing that exercise. I went to something where I could pop my shoulder back in just on a tree. And then I forgot about it, and I focused on pleasure. And within I'd say 30 seconds or a minute, the pain of the dislocation was gone, and I was able to function exactly the same way within a couple of minutes. I didn't do that same exercise because it was something unstable in that exercise that did it, but I was able to do all the other exercises with ease, and I was able to do my yoga, and I'm an acrobat, and I was able to do the acrobatics. Everything just flowed there was no effect from having dislocated my shoulder. And if I had done that in the past and not known what I know now, it would have been out for 6 months to a year, which is what it would happen as it got out in the past.
Now, did you find when it was relocated, when you put it back in, was it better than when it was before you dislocated?
Yeah, in fact, my whole body has gotten stronger, and I mean, like crazy strong now.
Yeah, I relate to that. Isn't that incredible how that we can adjust our bodies in magical ways, where the pain that we had, or even a serious injury can be literally overcome and restructured in the body almost spontaneously. Well, that's exciting, because I'm starting to learn that myself, that where I ask that my body move in a certain way to readjust, and it happens spontaneously. So I'm excited by what you're offering people. They are really offering them a way to rediscover their bodies in a brand new way, and that it's full of pleasure, and there's ways to create a new operating manual rather than running on automatic pilot, which is usually fear and doubt and shame and guilt and all those lower vibrational frequencies. So how do you work with your clients? Do you do one-on-one? Do you do group? How do you do it?
I do both. I do a lot of one-on-one. I work through Skype, and I will talk to people and ask them what they want to allow more of in their life, and then I will coach them if there's something they need coaching on and if they're willing for that. And then I create a meditation that's just for them. I also teach classes. I'm starting up teaching online classes. I've taught physical classes as well in different locations where I live, but I'm starting to create online classes so people can learn things that way. Yeah, so those are really the two ways I do it now. I've also been on other radio shows, and I've got interviewed by Neil Donald Walsh on a TV show that hasn't aired yet. But he was talking about, how did you get so aligned? And he said something like, you're more aligned than any master I've ever met, or something like that. I mean, he was really nice. So things are happening where I'm getting out there in the world. But basically, I do my clients, people can contact me through yummymeditations.com. And if they want a personalized one, they can do that. If they want to sign up for classes, they can do that. Or they can also get meditations that I've made that are in general for people, but they're guided and they're super fun. And people are having massive experiences just from these general meditations. And those are only like $9.95. So they're really cheap. So there's so many ways that people can access me.
So let's go back to the individual meditations. I'm excited by that idea. So it's really through that guided meditation that you help them discover these more aligned parts of the being that allows for the healing and these processes to occur. Is that what you're doing in those meditations?
Yes, but it's not just about healing. It's about abundance. It's about relationships. It's about anything anybody wants. They can achieve it through understanding certain things. And so I teach it both privately in the one-on-one meditations, and that's also what I teach in my online classes, although in the online classes it will be even more extensive, because in a meditation, you're together for maybe 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, and part of that is recording, so you don't have as much time, whereas when it's an online class, there's going to be more detail, more ability for people to really put it into practice in a doable way. I'm really about things being very doable and very practical. I love practical, doable things.
Yeah, me too. So are you going to be teaching other people how to do the technique that you've been guided to bring to the world?
Sure. Yeah, that's what I teach.
Wow. So that sounds pretty exciting. So what does that look like? Is that going to be in the form of online, or is it in person, or a combination of both, or how are you going to do that?
I've done a bunch in person. I'm going to be speaking at something called One Love Fest. It's going to be October 7th through 9th in Lake Casitas, California. So I'll be teaching it there. I've taught it online in a couple different ways, and I'm creating a new course now. And people can access that course through the yummymeditations.com website. And then people invite me to teach workshops all the time. I've been invited to teach them in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. So they just come as they come, and I say yes or no depending on my schedule. So, yeah.
So do people leave with some of the skills that you have? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, do you have a certification course?
No, I wouldn't say it's a certification. I'd say it's a certain feeling that they will be able to access, and they'll be able to access their own inner wisdom. They'll be able to access their own clarity, their own love, their own freedom, their own power, all of that. That's, I want people to be free. I don't have people come back to me over and over and over again unless they have something that they really want to talk to me about. But most people can do things in 1 or 2 sessions, because it's so important. I want people to be free and to be empowered and to know what they can do. And I give people the tools to do that.
Well, that's fantastic. So as we get close to the end of this call, what would you like to leave people with? All the listeners on this call.
I would like to leave them with this little It's kind of a thing I do in most of my meditations and something I teach people. And I started doing it when we were talking. If you put your hands on your heart and you bring your attention to your heart and just first perceive the beat of your heart, which is steady, and it is beating whether you're awake or you're asleep. It is beating whether you're exerting yourself or whether you're relaxing. Your heart is taking care of you all the time. And if you imagine that you're breathing softness into your heart, and as you breathe this softness in, it's infusing into your heart. And as it infuses, it's relaxing your heart, and your heart will be opening. And as your heart opens, you may now be able to perceive the sweet, pure, infinite, eternal, unconditional love that is always right there in you. It's always in your heart. It's always in every particle of you. You can perceive it when your heart is open, when your heart is soft and relaxed. And as you perceive that love, it's being communicated to your brain, and you will feel your brain letting go, relaxing. If you keep your attention on your heart and you keep breathing into your heart with more of that softness, that love will be nourishing your heart and caressing your heart, and your brain will get quieter and quieter and quieter. And that little 2-minute meditation is something people can do many times throughout the day. You can do it while you're in a conversation, while you're driving. Just keep your eyes open. While you're working, and just keeping your heart soft and open. And as you do that, you'll access the love that's right there, and you'll quiet your mind as you have your attention on your heart, and your mind will start to become receptive to the genius that's always right there within you.
Well, that's absolutely beautiful. What a great way to wrap up. So thank you ever so much for being on the show. And as you grow, and I'm sure you will, we're going to have you back and talk more about the wonderful life you're about to have as you go forward. I mean, as you are being recognized for who you are, people will want more and more of you. So I'm very excited for you and this next step that you're going into. It's going to just take right off. So thank you for being on the show. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be with you. You're just wonderful, and I can feel how loving and how powerful and how wise and how orgasmic you are, and it's just lovely to connect with you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, bye for now.
Bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.